Brian, we do have some comments here for you. Our soulmates are saying you write a book but never report the injustice directly to the department or internal affairs. And Pierre Jones, our soulmate, says you should be ashamed that you never reported your white officers, Brian. So
well, I just mentioned to you when I was a probationer, I went to my captain who was black, told him my training officer was racist and the comments that he made about him not wanting to train me, that he was there to fire me because all blacks and minorities were on the job because of affirmative action. I went to my captain. He said, "You don't think I know that?" He said, "The mayor, who am I going?" He goes, "Who am I going to take this to? Am I going to take it to the chief because the chief is racist? Am I going to take it to the mayor because the mayor knows it and he ignores it?" He said, "Get the hell out of my office." He said, don't bring that shit in here.
Are you talking about Mayor Bradley?
Yeah. And so
he was one of the finest human beings God ever created. He was black. He was with the LAPD for 20 some years.
Well, what about Daryl Gates? What about Daryl Gates? What about Daryl Gates?
Mayor of Los Angeles, a fantastic mayor. And I might add that it was
under Mayor Bradley, we had the worst LAPD in the history of crime.
Exactly. What about Daryl Gates? Daryl Gates, he was okay with racism. He was okay with sexism. He never took a complaint, and he didn't believe in firing people. You could do whatever you want to do, and all he would do is give you what they call freeway therapy. He send you to another division. But he didn't take any racial complaints seriously, any sexual harassment complaints seriously. And Mayor Bradley is the one who messed up and could not fire Gates when the riots took place. So, I mean, all this, you talk about him being the finest, whatever. He was incompetent as a mayor when it came to dealing with law enforcement. He couldn't.
For those of you who are not familiar with Daryl Gates, he was the police chief of Los Angeles from 78 to 92, I believe it was.
Something like that, yeah.
And to the callers who said that I should be ashamed of myself, there's no way that I could go to my superiors and complain that something would be done. Nothing was going to be done. So any issue I had with officers, I had to deal with it myself. And that's the way black officers have to deal with things. You cannot go to a superior. Hold on, I'm talking. You cannot go to your superior and complain because the same thing that happened to Christopher Dorner would happen to those officers. So as a black officer, you have to start handling stuff yourself. You can't rely on the department to do it. You have to step up and you got to handle that complaint and deal with that issue yourself. Black officers deal with all kinds of issues that the public doesn't know about. We have our own little war that we have against racism and against sexism on the department because the department will not solve it.
Al?
I just, I'm just totally confused with Brian. On one hand, he's got so much corruption that he writes a book about the plethora of corruption, yet he didn't report it. He didn't have the balls enough to report it. If I seen corruption, I would report it, and come hell or high water, if that was the LAPD that Brian experienced, I'd get the hell out of there. So I don't know where he's coming from.
You don't know where I'm coming from, and I don't expect you to understand.
I think that is what we're here for.
Yeah, well,
Brian can't quite understand your experience, Al, and you probably will just admit it that you can't understand his, and that is the difference that we are trying to bridge in America today. The fact that two different ethnicities share completely different experiences under the same branch of government. And I think that is what the conversation is all about. How is that possible?